All right, Zuhdi, you're actually not shedding a tear for the king. A lot of people are saying America lost a big friend. You disagree?
Well, listen, I look at this as a reformer, as somebody who wants to see the transformation of the Middle East towards liberty and freedom. And those are not words that are uttered by this family. And, the new king will be the same as the old king. And ultimately, the sad thing is that kings may die mercifully, but daily, if not weekly, there are liberals who are trying to reform Islam to stop the radicalization. This may be an ally, but the Al-Qaeda, King Abdullah, oversaw a country that created the radical ideas of Al-Qaeda that attacked us on 9/11, that attacked us at Fort Hood, continued to attack Paris, on. And I really don't see any moral difference between the terrorists in Paris and the House of Saud and their family who weekly torture and imprison Muslims because of blasphemy and other laws they have in that government that prevent reform necessary for true modernization.
I think it was last week across the internet, I even looked at the beheading, I think, of a Burmese woman in Saudi Arabia. The beheading wasn't illegal. Actually, the filming of it was, and it just underscores the things that you just said. And yet a lot of people in this country said the enemy of my enemy is my friend. In this particular case, we're talking ISIS. Is that enough for America to continue to embrace Saudi Arabia despite all the negatives that you just laid out?
Well, in the short term, in our whack-a-mole program, it sort of makes sense because Al-Qaeda is our immediate threat in our homeland and across the world. But in the long term, we have to abandon that. That made sense in the Cold War when we had a bigger threat with the Soviets and the Middle East was sort of a playground of finding the enemy of our enemy. But now, as the Arab awakening's happening, the liberals on the ground are looking at America as really hypocritical. I mean, to hear the president say that the king had the courage of his convictions, well, come on. I mean, what are those convictions? They are oppressive, they are evil, and we need to call a spade if we're not going to be hypocrites about religious freedom and about the principles that we supposedly defend in America. And if you want to counter-radicalize and not prevent what's happening in Yemen and all across the Middle East, we can't continue to embrace the enemy of our enemy because we don't have the same allies as the Saudis.